Thank you for all being here. It's wonderful to have you. I just want to tell you that with Gifted Gabber, not only do we teach the technical aspects of it, we also want you to develop your personality. And we want to give you a platform to come and present here, increase your presentation skills. So what I want you to do with this presentation is use this template the way you present it here, go to your school, present it in front of your counselors, ask them for a time. You know what, over summer, I did this AI project. Can I just quickly go over? It's only going to take 4 minutes. Okay, so you do that. You know what is the benefit of that? When it comes to writing your recommendation, the counselor is going to remember that, hey, the student took that initiative to come and present it, right? So it's going to reflect in your counselor recommendations. So I highly, highly recommend that. Next is the teacher recommendation. So if you've earmarked any teachers that you're going to ask for recommendations, if you're going to a technical major, you typically ask for recommendations from science and math teachers. Got it? So what you do is you go and tell your science teacher, hey, you know what? Over summer, I did an AI project. It was so interesting. Can I please give you a presentation? Don't just show them the code. Okay, so this presentation, again, you can even ask them to share it in school, in the class. Guess what happens? The teacher recommendation is 13 parameters that they judge you on. And one of them is intellectual curiosity. The other one is willingness to share. Of course, you're going to hit both the points. So that is the reason we do this final presentation. And also, it's a good exercise. And going forward, I'm going to look for either competition or contests that you can participate in, and I'll share those resources with you. And also, we are planning to build an internship program where we're getting in touch with businesses so that we can place you there. Because you already have the skills, and there are a lot of companies that are looking for, and I'm planning to build that program where we will give you a little bit of project management skills and some other skills that are needed to work in a real business or a place. And then we will give your resume to companies, and you can have your internship. So that's why this is very important that you come and give a presentation so that you will be able to speak to owners of the companies and everything to convince you. Okay. So with that, a few words from you, Ram.
Yeah, I mean, that was, I didn't know about those things, but I think, this course was really beneficial for you, for all of you. Most of you had like really great questions. The final session that we had where, we spoke a little bit of the projects. So I'm really looking forward to your presentations.
So a few rules for the presentation. We don't want you to finish your presentation and leave. Nah. That's not allowed. You got to stay till the end of the presentation. Ask 2 questions on the chat for your friends. Got it? You ask 2 questions. Absolutely. That's very important in your grading. And also fill out the testimonials. You will get recommendation from Mr. Ram and also a certificate. Then we have the voting Google Sheet here. So let's get started. I like to mix it up a bit. Surya, do you want to go ahead?
Sure, I can go.
Yeah.
Should I share my screen?
Yeah, share your video first because I don't think I've seen you. So
Okay.
yes, share your video.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, there we
see
see you. Wonderful. Yeah.
I can share my screen.
Welcome, Surya.
Is it sharing my screen already?
No, we see your face.
Oh, yeah, got it. All right, okay. So I'm actually gonna use my notebook to present. Is that fine?
Yeah, perfectly fine.
All right. So what I decided to do my project on was uh, lung cancer detection or prediction, kind of. So I know I said before I'd use CT scans, but I did take a look into that and I realized it'd be a bit too difficult to actually do. So I just went ahead and used the surveys which I found on Kaggle, um, and I could predict it using that, similar to how we did before. So there's actually a few challenges in, I mean, before we use the natural language toolkit and also the random tree classifier to detect if comments were toxic or not, which is pretty similar to what I'm doing here. But there's a bit of stuff that I should do first to actually prep the data, just like last time. So if we go here, you can see that in the survey data itself, there's one, there's the gender is not one or two like the other uh attributes, right? It's M or F. So the way I can change that is just replacing it like it did with the label and gender. So that was the first step, which actually took me a while to find. And before I actually go into training, I decided to look a bit at the data itself. And so I looked at if there were any correlations between uh, what they responded and if they had lung cancer or not. And you can see here that if they're wheezing or they drank alcohol a lot, they were more likely to actually get lung cancer or they had lung cancer. That was interesting to find out. Right. So this part here, I was a big obstacle for me because basically in the survey report, a lot of the people actually reported for or reported yes for lung cancer. You can see here that there were 270 people who were yes and 39 people who were no. And so after a bit of research, I figured out that I could use SMOTE to fix this problem, which is kind of just resampling it so that eventually it'll um, even out the amount who are like not that don't have lung cancer, or it'll make okay, wait. It's hard to explain. All right, but yeah, so I can use SMOTE to resample it and make it so that it'll train evenly on both people who have lung cancer and don't have lung cancer. Uh, yeah, and there's just a link to a forum post which I had to go through. All right, so here's the actual part about the machine learning model itself. So I used well, first I actually had to scale the data, so I had to normalize all the data using a standard scaler, just because all the data had to be uniform. And here is the actual training process, which is just using the random forest classifier, which we used before. And yep. And so if you see here, it has an accuracy of 96%. And then finally, I used the confusion matrix to test or to see how well it actually did. And you can see here that only 5 cases actually got it wrong. But that's it.
Awesome, Surya. This is like a pretty comprehensive presentation and an in-depth project that you've gotten into. Wonderful. Lung cancer detection, cancer detection is in the medical field is a super important and upcoming field. And Mr. Ram, any questions for Surya?
Yeah. So Surya, great job. Do you understand why you use mode there? Like the
Surya,
technique?
you want to stop sharing your screen so that you can come on screen?
Oh, you can't see my face when I do that?
Yes, go ahead. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Did you actually understand why you use mode there?
So I looked at the value counts first and I was like confused because I thought in the original survey there'd be more people who didn't have lung cancer. And then I just kept on searching like how would I fix this? And then I just searched up like okay, so this forum post I searched up how to fix like I didn't type sample. I don't remember exactly what I searched up, but I got to this forum post And he said because the people who had none were like kind of underrepresented, and I thought that'd mess up the model itself.
Mhm.
I didn't go forward with actually making the model on that data, so I don't really know if it would have messed it up, but I think it would have. And
Mhm.
so the guy said there were 3 ways to fix it.
Yeah.
But he said the way that you recommended it was using smoke. And then I just kind of went on this guy's website who explains it.
Okay.
And then he had an example of using it. I kind of just took the code right from that.
Okay. No, I mean, question was like, why do you understand the significance of like, let's say you're trying to you're trying to predict people with cancer and without cancer, right? So do you understand why the data set has to be uniformly distributed between the two types? That you use mode to make them uniform. You had like 270, 270, but do you understand why you had to make it 270, 270?
So the way it played out logically in my head was just that if more people, or if the AI thought there were more people, or if the AI saw that there more people had cancer, eventually when it got out to the real world, then it'd say that more like the on average person probably has cancer, or I don't know.
Yeah. So so you're partially right. So you basically when I started off, right, machine learning is basically you're trying to make the machine learn from the data, right? So if your sample had only like 4 samples or 5 samples of something you're trying to predict, the model really won't do good. So whatever you're trying to predict, there has to be a sizable amount of data in your sample to make sure that that your predictions are accurate. What you can also do is you can go back and without using smoke, if you try to train your model, your accuracy won't be this good, right? So that's the reason why you actually need to have a good data set where you have a balance of whatever you're trying to predict, is cancer, not cancer, then both probably or both of those outcomes need to have a sizable amount of data for your model to learn well. So that's why you actually use smoke to even them out a bit. All right, that's my question. Good job.
Thank you. Should I answer the questions now, or
You can
ones in
answer them
chat?
on the chat. The chat questions, you can answer them there. Okay.
Okay.
A big round of applause for Surya. Great job. Wonderful, Surya. I really hope that your project goes places and it gets picked up by the pharmaceutical industry and you do amazing. Okay. Next up, Namish. Namish, you want to start? Oh, sorry. 1 minute, Surya. Could you just come on the video and express about your experiences with this program? We're always looking for feedback and enhancement. So if you could just let us know what your experience was, that would be good.
Oh, like during the classes?
Yes, the structure, the Mr. Ram's mentorship, anything that you want to share. How did it help your learning?
I mean, this is my first time ever doing an AI thing, or also one of my first times ever doing Python. So it was pretty neat to have, somebody really experienced in doing this, teaching me it for the first time. It was pretty easy to pick up, I think, just from the classes, and also putting the homework in the Discord, and the projects, or giving whatever you did in class to us, as like a file or as a notebook, was really helpful.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing your thing. So yes, I forgot to mention. So after your presentation, we expect you to turn off your presentation and come on screen and express how this program helped you, the structure of the program, Ram's mentorship, the overall guidance, the way we run the program. We'd like to hear from you. There's always room for improvement. We're not perfect, but we always want to hear from our students. Okay, so let's go with Namish. Namish, are you trying to turn on your video? Or should we come back if you have technical issues? Namish? Okay, so let's wait for Namish's technical issues to get fixed. How about we go to Tejeshwar? Tejeshwar, are you ready?
Hello?
Yes,
Yeah,
Tejeshwar.
I can do it right now.
Fantastic. Please turn your video on.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, there you go. See you, Tejeshwar. Please go ahead. Finish your presentation, answer the questions on the chat, and turn off your presentation and share your few words. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Um, are you guys able to see the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, I decided to do identifying a dog breed. So what I did first was, when I first started off, I was pretty confused on how to start off this thing. And so I looked at some examples of other projects, and I realized you can start it off by importing stuff, right? So so these are some imports I got from other people, and then I learned about ResNet 50. And so I decided to use that as my baseline. And what this can do is that it's like it can help, like this makes it really simple since it can do multiple stuff. So this dog breed identification can also be used to predict cats and other animals that I realized. So there's already a URL here, but for example, this photo, what I can do is I could copy the address and I could paste it in here. Sorry, give me 1 second. Um, and it is able to predict the dog breed. So it could do this for multiple other dogs. And like I said, you could also do this for the cats, or even this photo where you can't see its face. It's still able to identify the dog breed. So, Mastiff and even cats, for example, like this one. This project, I had some difficulties, but I figured out in the end by some help by using Reddit and stuff, and so I was able to finalize it.
Hey, Tejeshwar, really nice job. This is what you proposed the other day, so I'm really glad you persevered with it and, and did it. Did you do some research on what ResNet is? And
Yes, I did a minor research, not heavy research, but I just figured out it was like a just like a variation of data, like a database, if I'm right.
okay. Yeah, so ResNet is a database of images, but there is also a model basically called ResNet. So I would, request you to go take a look at it. And it's basically something called convolutional neural network. So
Mhm.
convolutional neural networks are basically good at recognizing images. So if you have any image-based applications or image-based models that you're trying to predict with images, they all kind of use CNN. It's called short form is called CNN, or it's convolutional neural network. So ResNet is a type of convolutional neural network that was trained using the ResNet database, which is the dogs and cats images. But it's really interesting. So this is something, like I said, anything related to, like, if you're trying to predict something on video feeds or images or any of those things, then ResNet is a good model to basically use to try and build those things. So again, great job.
Thank you.
Awesome. You want to stop sharing and share a few words about the program?
Okay, yeah. Well, the program helped me start off like the project, and Mr. Ram helped me know more about AI, how it's being used in the real life. Those are some new things I learned. this is my first time doing Python or any sort of coding, or like at least like first, third time around ish that time, and it helped me boost my knowledge for Python even more.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. And your project was really, really good. Okay, everyone, please 2 questions for Tejeshwar. And also don't forget to vote. We want to see who the winner is. There'll be a gift card that will be mailed over and everything. I know all your projects are phenomenal. This is just to gamify it. I have a lot of gift cards. I'm just kidding. It's fun. Okay, so let's go with Ashmit. Ashmit Shrivastava.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead. Let's get started.
So I chose, wait, let me share my screen real quick. Yeah. So I chose to create a model just predicting the short-term closing value of a stock. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So in this example, I used Amazon. So I started with all the imports. And so over here, I think I did this like last week. So something that I thought this would be a lot easier than it actually was. So this is the type of model that I use was like a recursion model. I don't think we really touched upon it, but I thought it was going to be something different. So I'll explain that a little later. But basically how a recursion model works is that it uses previous data and it predicts the next value using extrapolation. So once again, I just began by just analyzing and manipulating the data. An issue that I found out initially was that the dates were strings, which for some reason it wasn't working in the index. So I had to import the date time thing to make it an integer. So I did that. And then, so I used Yahoo Finance to find my data and I used the Amazon data. So here's just the plot. I used MATLAB to plot it. Okay, so this is where my first difficulty started. So this is where I realized that it's a recursion model. So I decided to use windowing. Basically what windowing does is it uses previous data to kind of predict the next value. So I used 3 days prior. As you can see in my note, I used the three values prior to predict the next number. And really this was just a big chunk of information that I kind of just copy pasted from Stack Overflow because I think it's used a lot. So I was able to integrate this into my own program. And so it created like this windowed table, which the target is a specific day and the target -1, target -2, my target -3 is kind of just the days prior. So it's just simple, like just data manipulation. I'm just manipulating the data until I come to here, which is where I finally start training my model. So I break it into the training and test. Now, I talked about earlier how I couldn't use the train test split thing because how it works is train test split kind of randomizes the data, kind of randomizes what data is used. And so it's important to have the data in order. So I had to up here, I had to make sure that it's the first 90% of data I trained it on, and then it's testing on the last 10% of the data just to create like a sequential form. And so later, I don't think you really touched upon it, but it was recursion. So I used TensorFlow with the Keras. So I used sequential, atom, layers. I kind of just like watched a video on how to do this and what each one meant. So recursion is basically LSTM, which is, I think, long short-term memory. So I kind of just read up a little bit briefly on it. So then I did that. And so here's just my plots of the data and model of my prediction and training. And now the last part of my project was essentially predicting what tomorrow's value is going to be. So that's where I finally used recursion. So I created the recursive dates, recursive predictions. And this last chunk of my data is essentially just that. And finally, when I come down to the final cell, this purple line over here is tomorrow's predicted value, tomorrow's closing value for Amazon. Any questions?
Yeah, Ashmit, this is really, really fantastic what you've done here. Because I think, none of the things that you used on the project was anything that was covered in the
Yeah.
in the
So
class.
you know what I was thinking when I first started it? I think it was gonna be like the first one. I forgot what we were talking about. It felt like I could use the pie carrot. I thought I could use that, and then I started it, and halfway through I'm like, oh shoot, nothing's the same. But I was so invested in it that I just wanted to learn more and figure out how to do it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Great work. And did you check if the price, like the stock price, was actually pretty close to what you predicted? On that?
I guess we'll see tomorrow. Actually, I can test it. I can test right now, but I tested tomorrow's, but I can test today's and see.
Okay. I mean, this is really impressive. I really don't have any questions, but one comment that I wanted to add was just be curious, right? Like just the way that you have been already. Just be curious, and that's the best way to actually learn more and learn new things, right? And one thing I would say is beyond the tech space, like being like at Google or Amazon or Facebook or Netflix, I think one of the most lucrative careers is basically in the quant space, like in the finance space.
Yeah.
We are trying to predict stock prices in hedge funds, and so if this is something that interests you, then keep going at it. Keep learning here. So great job.
Amazing, Ashmit. Do you want to share a few words about the program?
Oh yeah, so I think the program was pretty great. So before joining the program, I had no like background on what AI and ML is. Kind of just gave me a foundational like start on just like what exactly is that AI, how to manipulate data. Like before this course, like if someone were to give me just a chunk of data and told me to predict something, I would be completely lost. But now I think I gained the confidence in the like just this basic skill set to be able to look at the data and come up with a model to find a solution.
Awesome. Great to hear.
Awesome. And like Mr. Ram said, quant, that's where you should be. I have a friend's son who got into quant and he's like making like a gajillion amount of money. So yeah, that's amazing that I mean, it's wonderful to see each one of you that when you encountered problems, you thought out of the box, you didn't get stuck or you gave up. You just plowed through, learned new skills and do that. So a big round of applause for you, Ashmit. Wonderful. Okay, so 2 questions for Ashmit, and please don't forget to vote for the best project. And also for your recommendations from Mr. Ram and a certificate, please fill out this form. I know there's a lot of forms, but please fill them out. Okay, next up, we have Arya. Arya, are you here?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to share? Yeah. Hey, Arya, you want to just lower your video a little bit so that we can see full of you. Okay, a little bit more. That's perfect. Go ahead.
One sec. It's not letting me share my screen.
Do you have you ever shared the screen on this computer?
No.
Okay, then you have to go and do some changes on your settings to be able to sort of let it do that. You want to share? Oh, you can't share. Okay, go to, is it a MacBook?
Yeah.
Okay, then you have to go to settings.
Okay.
Go to settings and then, okay, let me just see my settings and I'll tell you what it is. Wait, okay. Now system preferences, I'm sorry. It's system preferences. Then go to security and privacy.
Okay.
Okay, screen sharing. You need to select Zoom, okay? Chrome. Okay, screen sharing. You will need to, first you need to be an admin. So unlock yourself.
Okay.
Unlock yourself. And then if you don't see Zoom, if you see Zoom, click a tick button next to Zoom. If not, add the sort of application.
Okay, yeah, I think I got it. Uh,
Do you have a parent or anybody who can help you while we go to someone else?
yeah. You can come back to me.
Okay, sure. We'll come back to you. Okay. So let's go with, was it Namish? Did we get to you, Namish? You're on me. We can't hear you, Namish. No, can't hear you. Speak now. Yeah, speak now.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear it, but it's feeble. Do you have your headset connected or something?
No, I don't.
Okay, now you can speak. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me properly?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So I made a PowerPoint. Okay. So this is my project, fakeness detection using machine learning and AI. So introduction. So hello, my name is Namish Bansal and I live in New Jersey. I'm going to 9th grade at Cherry Hill East High School. I'm interested in computer programming and artificial intelligence, as well as math and music. So my topic is, so fakeness and unreliability are two major problems in the world today. And I wanted to use machine learning to make a program that can help people know what is real and what is fake. I decided to make a program where you can input whatever you want, aka hotel reviews, news articles, faces, etc., and it will verify whether it's real or it's fake. So project goals. So my first goal is to create a program that allows people to tell whether something is fake or real. And my second goal was to expand this functionality to include more things such as news, resumes, college applications, etc. Basically, I just wanted to make something where you can know like whether it's real or it's fake. And so my process was, first I did some research. So I looked for data sets on Kaggle that had some real data and some fake data so I can train the model. And then I found a data set on fake hotel reviews and made a model that can detect whether a hotel review is fake or not. So that was the first step. That was the initial execution. And then for the expansion, I decided to not only limit this to hotel reviews, but also other things that are commonly fake, such like news articles. And so this is a small demonstration. So these are just like snippets of like the code. So this is the model I use. I use sklearn, and I created a model that would be able to kind of like take these values and detect whether it will be fake or real. And this is what the UI looks like. So it asks you like, welcome to my fakeness detector. It can detect fakeness from things such as hotel reviews, news articles, and more. So you type in hotel, you give a hotel review, and this is a review I found online for a hotel. It says very nice hotel. Hotel stuff is very friendly and helpful. Infused restaurant was good. Food and service were excellent. And so then it will say this review is truthful. And so then I just made my own review to test it. I said this hotel room was one of the best I've seen, 10 out of 10. And then it detected that review is fake. So that shows how accurate it can be. And so the results was that I was able to create a program in which someone can input something, and it will, most of the time, will be able to say whether it is real or fake. And I created something that can constantly be expanded and improved upon, because there's so many things like just this, not only hotel reviews, but there's so many other things that I can add to this program and that can be faked. So there's so many other things that I can add to this program. So that'll make me learn more, and I'll have a better experience for the user. And I want to talk now a little bit about like my experience with the program overall. So this course was a really great experience for me in many ways, and it gave me so much knowledge, and I learned so much, and it allowed me to showcase what I had learned through this presentation and through this project, and it gave me a lot of really good opportunities for the future. And thanks to Mentor Samudra for making this course run really smoothly and for your continued guidance, and thanks to Coach Joe for organizing this coach and giving me this opportunity. And last but not least, thanks to Professor Ram for teaching everything really well and making it really engaging and interesting. So any questions?
Yeah.
Hey, Namish, good job. I think you're probably one of the youngest in this group. So did you actually test it with everything? Like, did you pass in like one review and one news article to make sure that is it predicting everything with the real and fake, or?
So before I made the user interface, I tested it with like train and test data. So I took 80% of the data for testing and 20% of the data, 80% for training and 20% for testing. And then I ran it through the I ran the testing data through the model, and it was coming around 90% accurate.
Okay. But did your data set have both news articles, and because your idea said one model to predict fakeness across things, so I'm just asking if you tested with reviews and news articles also?
So the data set I found was just for hotel reviews, but I want to
Okay.
expand on this project in the future and like add
Okay,
some
got
more
it.
stuff to it.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome job, Namish. Thanks a lot. And your project was really, really innovative and interesting. So a big round of applause for Namish. 2 questions for Namish, and please vote for the best project. Next up is Arya.
Yeah, this is my AI project presentation. My name is Arya Kamat. I go to Evergreen Valley High School, and some of my hobbies are baking and crochet. Yeah, this is the topic of my AI project, predicting like whether someone has diabetes or not. So the goals are to identify how these factors like affect whether someone has diabetes or not. Then I'm creating a model that identifies whether someone has diabetes based on these factors with an accuracy over 70%. So the process is like I found the data set first, and the data was already pre-prepped, so I didn't need to do anything to it. Then I imported the libraries. I split the data into train and test, and I used the random forest classifier model to make the predictions. And then for the accuracy, I checked the mean absolute error, the model score, and the cross-validation score. So this is just my code. This is like me importing everything, and then I had to rename all the columns because initially they were just numbers. This is like the train and test split. And then this over here is the predictions, and this is the actual values. So it's pretty much the same except for this last value. The mean absolute error is pretty low, and the model score is 73%. And then I also tried the cross-validation score, and compared to the normal model score, it's a bit higher at 76. So these are the results. So you can, given that you can predict whether someone has diabetes or not with around 70% accuracy, indicates that there is like some correlation between the values. And then, yeah, I built this model. Then my experience, it helped me expand my learning in machine learning since this is my first time doing anything related to this. And the structure of the class helped me with mastering the concept because each class was structured around a specific topic and model. And yeah, that's it.
Awesome, Arya. Very nice.
So great job, Arya. You're one of the quiet ones in the class. So did you understand what cross-validation is? Like, why did you use cross-validation, and why the performance in when you use cross-validation was actually higher?
To my understanding, cross-validation is when it takes like different splits, like different data for each 2080 split. And then, so that just shows how the data performs as a whole rather than using the same 2080 split. So that's why I use that.
Awesome. Yep, you're exactly right there. So that's what cross-validation is. And it's a good practice to actually use cross-validation when you're training a model. Did you also see some correlations did you do individual correlation analysis? Like, for example, let's take, for example, pregnancy. And did you do any research on how pregnancy has effects on diabetes?
No, I wasn't able to do that, but I think it's something I can do in the future.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, that's something, one of the common things is like, it's a good area of research, because, pregnancy, like a lot of women get, gestational diabetes, right? Pregnancy during diabetes during pregnancy, and it's very common among Indian women. So that's a really good area of topic. Like if you take just two of those variables of maybe ethnicity and pregnancy, and those two variables, you can collect your own data. That's absolute gold in terms of if you want to publish a journal or if you want to do additional research, that's like absolutely gold. So I would strongly encourage you to do, things like that. Yeah, but
Okay.
great job.
Thank you.
Awesome job, everyone. Did I miss out on everyone? Did everybody go? Yeah. Yeah. So a big round of applause to each and every one of you. A big thank you to Mr. Ram Prasad. We've been doing it for 3 years, and his patience, his expertise, his passion for teaching. I mean, it's mind blowing. And if you don't know him, you can just go and see on Udemy. He has over 5,000 reviews. But each year he takes the time to mentor and teach students. So a big round of applause. And also we are, Gifted Gabber, we are building an internship program where we want to see if we can match the young minds with like real companies, right? So please fill out the recommendation and certification and everything. We will let you know when there are openings. Basically, a lot of Python, a lot of AI modeling, and we would like to match you with another company that you can work either during the summer or during the school year. We will teach you a little bit of project management, which you might need to work in the real world. Okay, and also if there are some AI competitions, we'll certainly let you know so that you can participate in. So, Mr. Ram, any parting words?
The one thing I would say is if you are really serious about, getting like, this is a great area, right? If you want to do your education, when you get to college, if you want to do data science, AI, in any of these areas, right? It's absolutely exploding. This area is absolutely exploding, right? So if you are really interested, one of the things is some of you are in 9th grade and some just in high school, right? So you have a lot of time to do these projects and learn new things. Because and then try these things out, right? I'm sure you came to the class for 6-7 sessions, but then finally when you actually did hands-on project completely all by yourself, you probably learned more than what you actually learned in the course, right? So I would strongly suggest keep on this path of learning, pick any project or work on the same project that you did, and try to keep enhancing it, right? And by when you get to 12th grade or so, you would have an amazing application. And anything that you want to be good at, right? Even when you play video games, right? When you keep playing video games, you get better at it. The same thing goes for any of the things that you want to learn, right? So keep at it, keep practicing it, be curious, learn, keep learning, and you will be able to do awesome things. So thank you for being in this class.
Fantastic. Yeah, please take the time to fill out the testimonial. Only then you'll get a certificate from Mr. Ram, a recommendation letter, which matters a lot. And the winner of this season's AI project is Ashmit Shrivastava. A big round of applause to Ashmit. I will be mailing you a gift certificate. So everybody, all the very best. I hope to see you. I do have my college counseling sessions that are starting soon, which you will really greatly benefit from. So, okay, with that, if you don't have any questions, I'll let you guys go. Have a wonderful school year. And any questions, let us know how we can support you. Okay, bye now.
Thank you.